That's right, it's MotoAmerica 2020 and it's blue skies here at Road America for MotoAmerica in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Round two, it's their only opportunity to race for this next class that you'll be seeing, the Twins Cup. Welcome race fans and welcome to everybody around the world. We actually allow race fans here at this facility. It is a magnificent facility. I got to tour it yesterday when I went to watch the Ovales out there for the Mini Cup presented by Motul. And this is a huge facility. A lot of opportunities for campers, RVs, and stands and fans experiencing that social distancing, trying to stay separated. Like those two guys know each other, and they still don't want to be next to each other. Welcome, everybody, to Road America. It's a beautiful day outside, and it's always a great day inside in our air-conditioned cover. There's so many things to do, from freestyle to mini cup to autograph sessions to two-seater rides. If you show up in person, you'll get to do something, guaranteed. As we take a look at the track here at Road America, built back in 1955. It's about 4 miles long, just a shade over, but there's some uphills, downhills, rights and lefts.
Yeah, this track is one that everybody loves coming to every year, and as a guy that's retired, this is one of the tracks that I miss the most. It has a little bit of everything. You know, a couple of the passing zones is turn 1 and turn 5, which is a lot of hard braking, and then we have you go through the infield section, turn 6 through turn 9, when you get to one of the favorite corners on the whole circuit, the carousel, and then you got the quick chicane, and then the run to the cannon corner, and then the last section, and then the last corner, turn 14, which is one of the most important corners, if not the most important here, because it's the run to the flag, how you get out of turn 14.
Yeah, that drive out on the exit and up that big hill. There's 14 right there, a great shot, and you see the fans starting to make their way in through the infield, that road that takes you right through the middle. There's a lot of people here at Road America. And, of course, they're socially distancing. You see the bikes, the Twins Cup riders pulling up to the starting area. They'll do their reconnaissance lap here in just a moment. But first, let's send it down to our pit reporter, Jamie Hout.
Hello and good morning. You know, there are a couple of things that I noticed watching qualifying yesterday. First off, Rocco Landers and Caleb DeCarroll, they're really out there on their own in terms of one lap pace. Only 0.8 of a second separate the two of them, but then it's a whole nother 2 seconds to get back to the rest of the field. So I'm looking for that gap to close a little bit over the course of this 8-lap race. But one big thing that I wanted to keep an eye on is Rocco Landers himself. I watched him at the end of the Liqui-Moly Junior Cup race yesterday, and he was disappointed. Not just disappointed, but he was mad. He was upset with himself. He was upset with the pace of the race. He was upset that he didn't win, and he's only 15 years old. He is a champion, but today's going to show his maturity. It's going to show what he's made of. Can he put that behind him, and can he go out there and race? It's the first time he's been on the track since, so I'm looking forward to see what he can do.
I think you're calling it for what it was. You're exactly right, Jamie Howe. And there's his dad, Stoney, and he's the one needs to get in his ear and talk to him. And he's the one that usually makes these mechanical adjustments, but these are coming from a guy that was a racer himself. And there's other guys in his ear as well, other than his dad, Stoney, as he works his way back in that pit area. Welcome inside our booth. I'm Robbie Floyd. There's the champ, Roger Hayden. And I talk about those guys, Raj. Of course, mom and dad are in your ear whenever you come back to the pits, but he's also had John Hopkins that could really help him out.
Yeah, he works with the American Racing Academy, and they have John Hopkins, and you know, they're working with him a lot. You know, I know yesterday and today they wanted to work with him a lot on his drafting and trying to teach him how to do it properly. We were talking about yesterday a couple times he pulled out a little too soon and maybe didn't get to run on guys like he should. So he's got a lot of good people in his corner, and he's such a talented rider, and can tell this morning, even in the warm-ups, that he has the grit today and the determination to get a win. He's been so close the first round, and then yesterday he's could have had 3 or 4 wins if he could just find, you know, 1/10 over 4 races.
Right, you're exactly right. The margin of victory, or the margin of loss, I should say, for Rocco Landers, because again, he is still yet to win in 2020, which is a total flip-flop from 2019. The margins have been so slim, literally thousandths of a second. But here on this bike, Twins Cup bike, it looks familiar with Rocco Landers. As we take a look at our championship standings, we will not see the defending champ, or the champion from 2019, Alex Dumas. That's Rocco Landers riding Alex Dumas' bike. It was an M4 X-Star Suzuki last year, but now you see Rocco Landers 14 points behind Caleb DeCarroll on that Yamaha FZ.
Yeah, Jackson Blackman's third in points. He had a great second race last round, getting second. And actually, we didn't even see him all weekend really till that last race, and he could have won there to the run.
Last race, last lap, right? He charged in. Jason Madama. Chris Parrish has been fast this weekend. Cooper McDonald's been doing a lot of training lately. I talked to him a little bit. He's lost a little ground as far as the qualifying, but he says we're right there. I think we can get up there near that lead pack. Just needs a little bit more. Tom Sook and Adam Daniels, as well as Chris Lilligard. I talked with him yesterday. Of course, he's sponsored by the Tiki Lounge right down there. That's always a great sponsor to have when you come to Elkhart Lake. But he said he had a few things. If we see him in the race today, I'll talk about those. But looking at Caleb DeCarroll, he pretty much stayed up. He's from Minnesota. He stayed in Minnesota. He lives down in Texas, but didn't go down there. Hasn't been riding a bike. So the only time we see him when he's on track is the only time that he's been on a bike, and that has to hurt a little bit because the other guys have been trying to get as much seat time as they can.
A lot of the other guys, especially a guy like Rocco, and we talked about Cooper McDonald, and a lot of the other guys have been riding a lot since the first round, and it's really important whenever you're a young rider, just for all the seat time. Look at Rocco. You can see the look in his eyes there that he means business, and I got a feeling he's going to try to check out today.
This is an 8-lap affair. You'll see the Twins bike again. They'll get this siding lap done and out of the way. One thing I haven't told you, I went and talked to Rocco yesterday, and you ask him, he's doing double duty. We'll see him in the Lico Molly Jr. later, but as far as the Twins Cup, Caleb had a fast bike. It looked like it was faster than Rocco's. I said something to Rocco, and he said, we're going to be faster this weekend. They've got a faster motor in there. Even though he was on Alex Dumas' bike, I don't think he was on Alex Dumas' engine from last year because it seemed like it was a little different. Alex didn't seem like he was at a loss of that much power comparatively.
Well, the deal came together for Rocco to do this really late, so maybe, they didn't have time maybe to put in the race engine and it was just using a practice engine. So, that could be one problem. But also we've seen Rocco so much faster this weekend than he was the previous race, just getting comfortable. He broke the track record yesterday, and then he re-broke it again. And he broke it, the last time he broke the track record in qualifying yesterday was over a second. So he's definitely getting used to the bike more, and it's starting to show, and he's going to have to get comfortable, and he has to go back between the Junior Cup bike and the Twins bike, so it's not going to be easy to jump back and forth throughout the weekend.
Yeah, expect him to be around that 227 range. That was what he did in second qualifying. Here's your starting grid. You see the names and put the faces to the names. Yeah, Jackson Blackman, another guy that we expect to be up there near the front. Hayden Schultz has impressed me. Bubba on the 259. Cooper McDonald, 5-year favorites. Kind of a sprint type race for these guys, as well as a stock 1,000. 8 laps. I mean, you can extend the laps, but I mean, Roger, if you can't get it done in 8 laps, I mean, when are you going to get it done?
Especially on these bikes, 8 laps is going to be a long time. But you're right, it is just pretty much a sprint race. You don't have time to, let somebody get away. You have to stay right there because you're not going to have a ton of laps. If a mistake happens or you and another guy get battling and you let somebody pull away, you're not going to have a lot of laps to reel them back in. So it's going to be important to race smart and race hard from the beginning.
Been mostly Yamahas, or all Yamahas and Suzukis in our field. We'll talk about it during the race time. The Yamahas as a stock bike or just in general have a little bit more power than the Suzuki. The Suzuki seems to have a little bit better stability and handle differently than the Yamaha. So which bike suits you? I know riders in this class that have literally switched from the Yamaha to Suzuki and love it. And they're okay with losing a little bit of that power because they feel like they're more in control of that bike this year than, say, they were last year. You can have all the power in the one. If you can't put it on the ground, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, and the strength of the Yamaha definitely has a lot more speed, and you're going to see that in the race. And the Suzuki looks like it handles a little better. You'll see the guys that are on the Suzuki a little faster from turn 5, the infield, to when they exit the chicane headed to Canada Corner, and not a lot of tracks that we go to have straightaways like this, so maybe this track might suit the Yamaha a little better, but the rest of the year the Suzuki could be a little better. But really it's just a comfort thing. If you're not comfortable in the corners on the Yamaha and you're not making it up enough on the straightaways to make up for it, that you're losing in the corners, then the Suzuki would be the bike to go for you.
Got to look for right there. You see KD 51, Caleb DeCarroll, White Bear Lake, Minnesota, 1833. CJ knows CJ's accident injury law. We're hoping for no accidents, no injuries. Watch out for Jackson Blackman on the 18. Here we go. The lights go out. They charge into this fast first turn. Luckily, they're starting about halfway down this front straightaway because the next lap around, they will be booking into that hard right.
Yeah, Rocco got a great start, and you can already tell he's got his head down. And yeah, Caleb makes the pass in turn one. Caleb knows he can't let Rocco go, that Rocco has the pace, and he probably knows that Rocco wants to break the draft and try to get away. And I'm sure Rocco's going to try to set behind him and try to make a draft into turn 5 and really use the strength of the Suzuki through the infield and try to make a gap where he's not drafting guys. You see Jackson Blackman right there.
He's going for the double break, right? He's looking for them to break the wind just in front of him. He'll slingshot around the outside. Blackman goes into second, possibly. Look at that, Rocco with a good draft. Now Rocco, they're going back and forth. It's just the first quarter lap, and Rocco Landers takes the lead.
Yeah, that was a good move by Rocco, and you can see he's going to try to break the draft here and get away and get a nice little gap and hopefully break up the pack where you're not racing with a bunch of other guys and letting them stay in the draft. So if he can get away through here and maybe let the guys behind him start dicing it up and pull away.
97 of Rocco Landers on the Road Racing World Young Guns SportBikeTrackGear.com entry. Again, a last-minute effort here in the Twins. Take Hobbs, another guy to look for on the 79. He should be up there in the front. Hayden Schultz, the 259 as well.
You can see through the carousel just how much Rocco pulls a gap on the other guys, and they're starting to bunch up a little bit, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And you can see Rocco's just starting to get a little breathing room, and he's pulled out half a second, I'd say, already. And that's what, like I said, he has to. That's a strong part of the bike and where he's quickest, and he has to make it happen through the infield and try to pull away.
You can see Teague Hobbs, the 79 Hobbs Racing Woodcraft Technology Suzuki with those bright orange fork guards. Driving hard. These are early laps, but I mean they had that reconnaissance lap. They had the tire warmers. I mean, you're fast from the get-go, and you have to learn that. If Rocco's going to race in Europe, those guys are fast. You probably learn that sometimes the hard way. They sprint on that first lap like it's their life depends on it.
Yeah, Rocco had a great first lap, and a guy that I raced with a lot that was really good right off the start in the first couple laps that I had to really learn to pick up my pace was a guy like Josh Hayes. That was one of his strong suits and something I had to work on and try to improve. And Rocco did a great first lap. He's already broke up the pack, so if the two guys behind him do catch him, then he has a huge gap on the guys in fourth, so he's not going to have a really too many guys to battle with.
You're looking at the time, again, only one circuit around this course, 2:32, but in the Twins Cup, 2:27, the fastest outright record. That's Rocco Landers from Q2, 2:27 for Rocco Landers. Let's go down to Jamie Howe.
I have a question for you, Roger, in terms of this deal coming together so late for Rocco. And we were here just a few weeks ago, and he was really getting on that bike for the first time. His height is listed at just 5'3", whereas Alex Dumas, who rode that bike to the championship last year, 5'8". So with the driver or the rider difference in size, how big of an impact does that have on what the team has to do to get him ready?
It has a pretty big impact because the settings are going to change so much, a different weight, different fork settings, shock springs, everything, the balance of the bike, and also he's going to be, their riding style could be a lot different. So I guess you could say the first one was really, like a test for these guys, and you can see that Rocco's more comfortable on the bike, and the team has figured out those settings where the bike really suits Rocco, and you can see he's starting to pull a gap. But we also seen this in the first race of the year when we were here a couple weeks ago that he pulled a gap early and he let Caleb catch him.
It didn't look like anybody was going to catch him. Next thing you know, Caleb was there. It's kind of the same thing in the second race. Both of those guys pulled away, and here comes Jackson Blackman on the last lap.
But this race just has that different feel, like this is Rocco's race, because he's been so close to getting second, and you could see the look on his eyes whenever they were on the grid that
you can see the red from here.
He wants to get a win.
You can see the red in his eyes all the way from here.
I mean, he's on a good lap now. He has, the best purple sectors in the first three, so he's definitely pushing hard to try to break up where he can get a big enough gap where Caleb can't use the strength of the Yamaha to catch him in the straightaway.
When we talk about purple sectors, our screen's a little different than yours. Purple sectors, if you're watching on MotoAmerica Live Plus or MotoAmerica.com, purple means overall best in the entire field. If we talk about green sectors, that's a personal best. And Rocco had 3 or 4, look like he had 3 purples, and he followed it up with personal best in sectors 4 and 5. But the sectors he's not as fast, Caleb DeCarroll and Jackson Blackman are. Speed's about 135 miles an hour. We're on lap number 3 of 8. It's Rocco Landers out in front, Caleb DeCarroll in second, Jackson Blackman in third. They're kind of bunched up a little bit. Chris Parrish up into fourth now. Tag Hobbs drops back to fifth, and Toby Komsuk in sixth, followed by Hayden Schultz and Cooper McDonald.
Yesterday, Rocco broke the outright track record at a 27.4. The previous race lap record Jackson Blackman had it at 28.5. Rocco just broke that at a 27.9, so you can see he's definitely trying to, that's 0.6 quicker than the best lap before.
Cooper McDonald is the last one in that group, and he said, it's time, but I've got to move up. There's a group of 5 riders there, and I didn't think Cooper really had a shot, but he was just getting away from the same line everybody else does. You don't want to screw yourself up by taking those inside lines anytime earlier than you need to.
But also, he was that last man in line, so he could have got sucked in from the draft a little bit, or maybe he feels like he's faster than these guys and he wants to, like we said, there's only 8 laps. You can see he's all over the person in front of him. It just looks like they're holding him up a little bit, and he's trying to make a move and maybe catch somebody for third. Here it is right here. Look, he's way up the inside and trying to make a pass from Chris Parrish, and they got pretty tight.
Got close, but he's going to lose a little bit of that speed on entry or on exit. But again, he was able to turn it down, pinch off, and still have that drive coming out. And these guys running in a group, if they keep battling back and forth, that 3-rider set in front of them are going to pull away, right? I mean, they keep fighting. And right now, here's that race for second again with Caleb DeCarroll. And just when I thought that they were closing in on Rocco, it looks like a little separation.
Yeah, they've actually have closed a little bit. Well, Caleb's had his personal best lap, but Rocco is still a little bit faster than them. So at the beginning it looked like they were closing, but now looks like the part of the track where Rocco's really strong, looks like he pulled it back out again.
This could get fun. We get towards the end of this race if these 2 guys are able to close in on Rocco Landers, because dealing with one guy, you only have one variable. When there's a 3-man race, then you have to worry about, I can't go inside, lose too much speed, have this guy get by both of us on the outside. I mean, you want that 3-rider mix as a fan, as a commentator. 2's good, 3's even better.
Yeah, the more guys in the battle, definitely a lot more exciting, and these guys are actually being pretty smart. Jackson and Caleb not getting caught up in their own battle and following each other, not slowing each other up, and not letting Rocco just get away too far where they can never catch him. So, he's building his lead. That lap he had a 1.4 second gap over Caleb. So we'll see. They're running out of laps. There's only 5 to go. So if they're going to catch Rocco, they're going to have to get going.
And look at that battle back behind. Tag Hobbs, Toby Komsuk, Schultz, McDonald, Parrish. I mean, they're all within maybe 0.2 of a second of each other, and Jason Madama trying to squeeze up there, currently 9th on the 2:13. He's a front runner, but once you lose that draft, man, you got a lot of ground to make up. Let's go down to Jamie Howe.
I just checked in with Thomas Davidson, who is on the bike for Rocco Landers, and he was explaining to me that one of the biggest differences this weekend compared to the first round of races here at Road America a few weeks ago is the riding style of Rocco Landers. He's still riding Liquid Moly Junior Cup, and so he's still getting up to terms with being on a new bike and how to ride it, how to race it. But from a team standpoint, they've really worked on the gearing, getting the rear end of the bike to work a lot better. They made a couple of mistakes, admittedly, before they were at Road America last time around. They have a lot more data to work with, and you're seeing it translate to the race today.
Yeah, those are 2 totally different bikes. Liquid Moly Junior, a little down on horsepower compared to this one, and just a different feel. But the one thing with Rocco is he rides a lot of different bikes, meaning supermoto, motocross, even 1000s. We see him a lot on the 1000, and that's got to be a heavy beast.
Yeah, he bounces back a lot, between different bikes, which during the season that can kind of hurt you to get used to riding other bikes. And you could see him looking back out of the coming out of the chicane. He's wanting to know where his gap is, but he's just slowly creeping away. And we talked about how much more comfortable he's getting on the bike, and also the team's getting it set up a lot better for him. I mean, not only has he broke the track record, race record, the outright record, but he's also a second quicker than he was whenever we were here the second race a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened in Sector 3. I'm looking at Rocco, and he's turning purple best throughout, but in Sector 3, it showed white. It was just straight across. It was a 39.0, but when you compare it to a personal best of Caleb DeCarroll, he was 4/10 faster than DeCarroll was in that one sector alone. 4/10 is an eternity, and that's not even your personal best.
No, not at all. Not, like I say, that's
get
good
close.
move. It was a good move by Cooper McDonald, but you're right. That sector is the one that I always talk about, where Rocco's a lot faster and his bike works better than that one, and he's making it happen, and he's already, 27.8. That's again his best lap. But you can't look at Caleb. Those guys are responding. They're doing 28.0s, which is only a couple tenths behind Rocco, so they're definitely trying not to let him go. And we have a good battle here, and it looks like Cooper McDonald's got his way past these guys in front of him.
Now, can he pull away, though? You want to break away from this pack. You don't want to be in this mix the entire time. Look at Madama. He's caught up with that pack, and now he's battling it out. Jason Madama.
Oh,
wow.
We got somebody down. Is that Jackson Blackman there? It is.
Is it the 18? Oh, unfortunately, it is. Blackman is down. He was in third. He was in that lead, or that group, that front group that was just in front of them.
And now this battle here is for the last podium spot.
Right. So this is for a podium, and you see Tate Hobbs on the 79 trying to get by on the outside on that Suzuki. Cooper McDonald on the Yamaha as they make their way into the carousel one more time. Unfortunately, we'll see if we have what happened with that. But I mean, there was one of your front runners. There's a guy that we thought could be challenging for the win today.
And maybe he was just pushing a little hard. These guys, Caleb DeCarroll just had a red first sector that, on that lap. So maybe he was trying to stay with Caleb. But it looks like he's up and okay. Turn 5's kind of a slow corner, so probably just washed the front end. His airbag suit has definitely been deployed there. So. But he crashed, and sometimes that's what happens when you're learning.
There's a guy who's third in championship points coming off of that. Again, he's the track record holder here, and he's frustrated. What happened, Raj?
Just lost the rear end. I'm not sure. Most guys lose the front going into that corner, but just looks like maybe he got on the throttle a little soon and just spun it out, basically.
Little soon, rear end's a little light in that spot, and came around on him. We still have a heck of a battle. Take Hobbs in front of this four-rider quartet. Cooper McDonald, Hayden Schultz, Jason Madama. This is for a podium spot. I mean, it's a big, big deal for these guys. And look at Schultz trying to get that draft. There goes Cooper. Schultz is going to try and do the same, and he does. And now Madama pulls out again. There's a veteran. Oh, we got a Cooper McDonald sandwich, and there goes Schultz driving around the outside. Good move. Oh, and you see Cooper not wanting to back out. A good, exit. Luckily, they have that asphalt out there.
This battle is going to get a lot more hotter now because it's for the podium spot. Look at Teague Hobbs there up the inside, and almost got into Hayden Schultz. That was a good pass, and it gets tight when you get sucked in there on the draft, and you're trying to pass somebody, and you get on the apex, and then they let off the brakes because they start leaning on you. They want you to get by, but these guys know that this is the podium spot. So
3 wide, crossing over. This is what Twins Cup's all about. A lot of talented, a lot of young riders mixed in with some not so young riders. And I don't know that I have a favorite of this foursome, and I don't know that I want to be leading coming up to the finish line either, Raj. We've seen that before. The guy in front is usually not the guy who crosses the checkered flag ahead.
Yeah, so there's a couple laps to go, so you don't really have to use that last lap strategy just yet. Your strategy would be to, I would think to try to pull away so you don't have to worry about that. But I don't think anybody's going to get away from each other between these four. And if they keep battling it like this, Toby Comstock's going to catch up from turn. He's running in 7th, and these guys are battling, slowing each other down, and he's starting to creep back up into the picture, so he might have a 5-rider battle by the end of this.
Take Hobbs, the rider that's in that mix. He's only 17 years old on that Suzuki, and a 17-year-old moving up from the Junior Cup. Ooh.
It's getting close.
Yeah. Elbows. There's Take, the last one in that picture. I didn't mean he's going to stay there, but 17 years old. He's young. Cooper McDonald, same thing. Here's another young kid. They're all around. These are some of the young guys, but they're racing. Jason Madama, he's no spring chicken.
No, that's the cool thing about this class. You have a wide variety of younger guys and guys that's been around for a long time with different experience. So this class is pretty much for everyone to come here and race with MotoAmerica and either try to move up the ranks like a guy like Rocco and Caleb and Jackson and some of the other guys. And then you got guys like Jason Madama and Chris Parrish and guys like that who are here more to have fun.
I promise you, Jason Madama, I think he's 40 years old. He's having fun, and he'll have even more fun if he can put that 213 that you see on that far left, he can put that bike on that podium spot. I promise you, he'll be ecstatic. Syndicate Racing, Apex Assassins, Yamaha of Jason Madama, but he's still got Teague Hobbs, his 17-year-old, trying to keep the old man off of the podium. Experience is going to play a big factor, but also a lot of times when you have youthful, you have that exuberance in the. You don't know what it's like to throw away a good thing too. At times, I don't want to say that could be the case, but you tend to run it harder when you're younger.
Yeah, look at this draft, the way it's working. I mean,
yeah, wow.
Teague Hobbs was in third in the first corner, and they go into turn 5, and he's already slipped back to 6th. You know, lost just the draft is going to play such a huge part in this race toward the end, and you know, Toby's starting to catch up. The guy in 7th.
Another one.
So by the end of this, it could be you know, a 5-rider battle for the last podium spot, which be really cool for us to watch.
Toby Comstock, another 17 years old, a big boy out there, and on the Robin Engineering. Robin Engineering, a lot of people don't know where it came from. Come from a movie that instead of saying Christopher Robin, it was Christopher Robin. On a, you know, I'll tell you more about it later. Let's talk about the races, but just a mispronunciation turned into a team name for Robin Engineering. You didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't. Thanks for the.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, any Winnie the Pooh references you got for me? You know, soon. Never mind. Cooper McDonald on the 20, Madama on the 213, Schultz on that 259. You do see Toby Comstock mixing in. This is a 4-rider battle. Comstock's sneaking. He's in there now. He's caught that draft. It's going to be a five battle race or 5-rider race to the podium spot. It's Dana Park. I don't think Caleb's got anything for him with 2 laps to go.
No, I don't think so. I think Rocco's plan worked out perfect for him, and just, you know, you got to give Caleb DeCarroll credit though. He's definitely tried to hang in there, but Rocco just keeps getting faster lap after lap. His last lap was a 27.4. That's exactly the same lap time that he did during qualifying. So, you know, Caleb has definitely made Rocco earn it, but you know, looks like Rocco has things under control, and now we're gonna have a really good battle for that last podium spot.
Yes,
it's going to be a wild last lap, I think.
And I know we're going to have to call the winner as he comes across, but we will definitely see that race for third. Look at the gap between second and third. Still waiting to come up the hill. There they are. It's Cooper McDonald this time. I'm telling you, the guy that's leading out of that final turn, turn 14, will probably not be in front as they cross the checkered. Madama on the inside. And driving on the outside is that Schultz. He's putting the pressure on McDonald. Here's another straightaway. We're going to see some drafting going on.
Yeah, now Toby Comstock, he's right there in the middle of it. So now we have 5 guys going to battle for this last spot. So all these guys drafting coming out of turn 3 here, headed into turn 5. It's going to get pretty exciting headed into there.
Teague, a big wiggle. He was the 4th rider in that picture. Cooper trying to get drafted by Madama. Actually going a little more inside, a little defensive move there maybe.
Yeah, if you stay to the left a little bit, the guys can't.
I like Schultz
around the outside.
And he's going to get this drive, and you see them both. A couple of riders having to stand up. Oh, what a save by Schultz. He still has time to regroup.
That was a good save.
Yes, Teague Hobbs takes over position. Now Madama makes a mistake. They're all making. Toby Comstock had been way back there the entire time, and he might actually finish on the podium as Rocco Lander's starting to pull away on this final lap. The 97 is trying to win for the first time in 2020 in his 3rd attempt here in the Twins Cup.
Yeah, but we're not slow down too much because, you know, Caleb is getting pretty close behind him, and we know that the Yamaha is pretty quick, but it looks like the gap definitely.
If you were waiting, you waited too long, Caleb DeCarroll.
Well, maybe Rocco's just trying to, you know, not take too many chances this last lap, but looks like things are pretty much in control for Rocco, and what a great race by him, just getting faster every lap, and, you know, holds another track record now.
1:833. CJ knows of Caleb DeCarroll is running out of time. He's won both Twins Cup races this year. But the Road Racing World Young Guns, SportBikeTrackGear.com. Suzuki is powering down that front straighter. I don't care how fast Caleb DeCarroll's bike is. He is not as fast as Rocco Landers is today. The 97 Suzuki takes the win for the first time in 2010, and he is ecstatic. Caleb DeCarroll, I'm sure he's going to do a little knuckle bump there and congratulate him. Here's our race to the finish. It's the 79 to Hobbs. Is that Schultz just behind him? Schultz trying to get in that drive. Hobbs made the one move that he could make.
Schultz got the run.
He's got the drive. And can Hobbs pull back out and try and do it again? No, Schultz takes third. Congratulations, Hobbs, McDonald, Komsuk, and Madama. Those 7 riders, man, what a run. And it was a battle, and it was just mistakes on that last lap that cost a couple of guys.
What a rebound for Hayden Schultz. We seen him kind of turn 5, have that big moment, but just kept his head down. And look at Rocco. I mean, that's just excitement and relief.
And the frustration is finally over. Jamie happy, his mom Stoney down there. High fives all around, and it's been a long time coming, and it is crazy. It is absolutely ridiculous when we talk about what there's been 3 Lucamali Junior Cup races. There has now been 3 Twins Cup races, and yet it's the first victory for Rocco Landers.
Yeah, and I think, you know, when you see him go over the finish line, that's why I said I thought it was excitement and relief, because he's been close so many times, and, you know, it gets frustrating when it's right there and you just come up short. But
and the plan worked.
Great race, and he did what he had to do and got away, and, you know, didn't chance it to race with anybody else.
The plan worked. His plan yesterday in the Lucamali didn't work. He was saying he was trying to bide his time, thought he could do this at the end and couldn't. Well, it looked like he wanted to get out in front and pull away, and he did just that.
Yeah, and actually Caleb DeCarroll now has the track record for the, you know, outright and race, because his last lap when he was catching did a 27.3. So good ride by him. You know, he didn't give up and just kept pushing.
And that's going solo too. Remember, he didn't get any air help. There was no advantage from that on the record. So did he just wait a little too long, Rod? Should he, if he could go that fast, should he have been pushing a little earlier?
Well, I mean, he was just pushing as the race went. So I mean, I'm thinking, of course, if he could do those laps from the beginning, he would have. So
well, I mean, even there at the end, that's what I'm saying. He wasn't getting any help as far as an aero advantage. A lot of times we'll see that in Blackman last lap of that other race. He was probably getting an aero help. Caleb didn't get any aero help, and yet he was still able to turn the lap record. The lap record prior, he held back in Q2. That was a 28.90, a 27.35. Is that, you got the old stats and the new ones? There's the new one. Okay. 27.45. 27.45 prior. So he beat it by 1 full tenth.
And what about the race record? You know, beat it by 1.2 seconds.
Yeah.
So, you know, he tried.
He was
waited a little bit late, but you got to respect that he didn't give up, and only ended up 7 tenths behind Rocco at the finish line. But you know, doesn't really matter. Rocco won, so that's cool to see. He's going to be so relieved and so happy whenever Jamie gets down there and interviews him. And only be 15 years old, and you know, he's got a lot of pressure on him. He has a lot of eyes on him, and everybody expects a lot out of Rocco, and that's why it's cool to see him just finally kind of get that weight off his shoulders.
Yeah, I went down and talked to him before, and he was getting an interview with Hannah Lopeman. I looked at him as you see the final results from race 1. I looked at Rocco and said, when are you going to win one of these things? And the cameraman, man, you're being a little abrupt there. I'm like, dude, he understands it. You know, he gets it. As a racer, you know you're there. And he's like, I don't know, you know. I'm going to do what I can do. And he did just that. DeCarroll, second, Schultz. But look all the way down to 7th place. Standish was a ways back with Chris Parrish, but you know, Madama had a chance to finish on the podium, and one big bobble really cost him.
Yeah, that mistake in turn 6 cost him his chance for the podium. So at least he saved it and could regroup and finish in the top 10 and get 7th.
Komsuk showed that he could battle and fight his way back up into that pack, and it just didn't work the way he wanted there at the end. They're over in Parc Fermé. We still have a lot of the social distancing stuff still going on. Only so many representatives available to go down there. I see Jamie Howe down there as well, our pit reporter. And you've seen the interviews we've been doing. In case you've been wondering, we've been doing them at distance. We get the extended microphone over there to them. So We talked to him off camera just a bit, but everybody doing a great job with the social distancing. Roger and I inside the booth. You know, of course, I always want to keep him at arm's length. Hope the fans are having a good time. Bring the Gulfstream out here. Run it. I knew I'd only been at this track and went around the track. I'd never driven around. I went to watch the Mini Cup yesterday as a proud papa there, Stoney, on the victory podium. I didn't realize how big it was and how many camping hours. It is really, there are a lot of people here, Roger, that we just can't see from our vantage point.
I went through the infield yesterday, and I just couldn't believe how many people was here camping. And that's what's great about Road America. It's been a long time since I've seen this many fans here, and it's one reason why so many people love coming here, especially us, because the fans are so passionate, and just seeing them all having fun. And also they were all checking out the Ovali riders yesterday as well.
Yeah.
So they're supporting all of us. That was awesome. I couldn't believe how fast those kids were. And really, I can't wait to go to watch the next one.
Yep. It is going to be fun. Angels, what a run from Bubba today. And hey, you know what? We've seen that frown turned upside down. He's finally smiling. Jamie, how Rocco Landers can finally smile on that podium.
You can feel the different energy coming off of Rocco Landers this time around. Rocco, you started on the pole. You finished the race at the top step of victory lane here today. What was the biggest change for you this weekend?
Well, my American Racing, Road Racing World Sport Bike Track Gear Suzuki team brought the bike back, and last time we were struggling a little bit on power, so they worked super hard on that, pulled a couple more horses out, and just came in this weekend with a lot of training and a lot of just work. So I was super stoked to put it on pole yesterday, and then this race, I wanted to win so bad. I just couldn't have done it without my mom, my dad, Bread Racing, Road Racing World, HAC Helmets, Mythos Leathers, California Superbike School, and shout out to Spencer Humphreys.
All of that hard work paid off. Hannah?
Place finish today for Caleb DeCarroll. Caleb, what, if anything, did you do differently from the first round that maybe affected your result today?
Basically, I think we made a lot of changes that really paid off. Honestly, this race weekend, me and Rocco were going quite a bit faster than last week, so I feel like we both upped the bar, and really, my bike was working awesome. There was just a few sections that I was kind of struggling with getting it to turn, and it kind of hurt us today. But honestly, I'm happy to be on the podium, and it's a long championship, so I'm pumped just to be on the podium and be racing in the sunshine in front of the fans. I'm so thankful to everybody who came out and supported the races today. And like I said, I'm just having a blast being out here and having fun.
Congratulations to Caleb DeCarroll. Let's get back over to Jamie.
For Hayden Schultz, it's his third career race and his first career podium. You had to work hard for this one. Talk me through that battle there at the end.
Yeah, it was the battle for third was an absolute dogfight. I think at one point I got passed by 5 different dudes that were battling there, and the last lap was it got a bit hairy. Everybody's trying to outbreak each other and everything. So luckily I planned that right coming out of the last corner and was able to make a draft pass and get third. And so I'm just so stoked for my team. We've worked so hard. I know Gene, Gary, Dink, everybody back at the shop has been working overtime to make sure this bike was prepared and ready to go. And then after the mishap we had at the first round where we had to resort to a stock motor, coming back and getting some redemption feels really good. I just have to thank everybody that supported me. This Brittenham Construction, Law Tigers, Hayden Schultz Racing, FC07 was working great, and it worked out. It gave us just enough to get on the podium. So we're not happy yet. We're not satisfied. We're going to be hunting for more. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, see if we can't close the gap to these front 2 first.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations, Bubba. Great run. And yeah, it was a little hairy there at the end. Rocco had no idea what was going on behind him. His objective was to get the start, pull away. He did just that. Caleb DeCarroll kept him honest back there. And as he said, they were both faster than they were at the first stop when we were here just about a month ago. But it all starts with the start, and you knew Rocco wanted to get out in front.
He did, and you can tell here Caleb made the pass going in turn 1, and didn't want to let Rocco do what he did to get away, and Rocco made this pass here headed into turn 5 and made a gap here on the first lap, and honestly just never looked back. And then Jackson Blackman was having a great race, was right there in second, and just had a little tip over in turn 5.
Look at this race, though, that we had back there, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. It was 7th as well in the mix. And Hayden Schultz, the one to come out on top of that one. But Rocco Landers, again, they're turning faster times. They're going to push each other throughout the series, and we're glad to have them racing that hard, that tight. Throw in Hayden Schultz. He learned a lot. And, yeah, there were a lot of guys trying to outbreak each other.
Yeah, that last lap for that last podium spot was really good. And, you know, Hayden Schultz, I mean, congrats to him. He had that mistake coming out of turn 5. He was drafting Teague, and Teague tried to redraft him, but Hayden just had enough to get by. And look at Rocco there. There's no better feeling than that right there. And that's just, like I said, not only is he excited, he's relieved.
The fans get to see him in the Liqui Moly Junior class, and they do have some changes to that bike as well. Put a new frame in there. They said that thing was out of a line, I think by like 5 centimeters, 6 centimeters out of a line. So throw the straight chassis underneath him. I think he's going to be faster today. I could be wrong, because I remember it was last year there was a Twins Cup rider in Drake Beecham that had a bent frame. As soon as they threw the freshie on there, it was good. Look at this. Caleb DeCarroll, a 9-point advantage over Rocco Landers. Closes in a little bit. Madama, another strong finish, moves up into that 3rd spot. Parrish. Blackman drops back to 5th. Cooper McDonald, he's going to be in it all year long. Comstock, Schultz, and Lilligard rounding out that top 9. So as we travel around the country, we'll have multiple races for the Twins Cup at each week, like we saw at the last stop. This one, both the Twins Cup as well as 1000s, only one opportunity. They do get plenty of track time, but that's the one and only time we will see them in race form. As you take a look at the beautiful scenery here and the sights, a lot of opportunities to check out different vantage points of Road America. Here's today's schedule. Rocco Landers taking a victory in Twins Cup. Coming up next at the top of the hour, Stock 1000s. And we'll still try and get you an update on PJ Jacobson, the Stock 1000 points leader, Super Sport, at 12:30 Eastern Time. Followed by the Honda Superbike race number 2 and the Liqui Moly Junior Cup. See if Rocco Landers can go 2 for 2 today. This kid, how far away from the Liqui Moly Junior Cup is he?
He needs an Ovale, that kid.
Absolutely right now. The Ovale, definitely the way to go. Hey, stick with us. We've got a lot of racing today. I'm Robbie Floyd with Roger Hayden and Jamie Howe down trackside, and we've got a lot more to bring you throughout the day.